Jazz music for people who hate jazz. Let's see what that looks like. Here's an original OG Blue Note, Art Blakey and the Jazz Messengers. It was 4016. Here's the Art Blakey and the Jazz Messengers, 4015. Original OG Blue Note. Moanin', Art Blakey and the Jazz Messengers, one of the most famous records, but it's not for people who hate jazz music. There's another copy of it, Caravan. That one may be getting a little closer. Gene Ammons, Nice and Cool. Gene Ammons, Boss Tenor. True Blue, Tina Brooks. Donald Byrd, Stepping Into Tomorrow. John Coltrane, Both Directions at Once, the Lost album. Love Supreme, John Coltrane, famous record, but people that recommend this for you to start out with. And what do you not want to show and play for people who say they don't like jazz music? Miles Davis, Bitches Brew, nice OG copy. Oh, and some consider the most famous jazz record ever recorded, Kind of Blue, Miles Davis. A lot of people might recommend that. It's not too tough, but that's not the place to start if you don't like jazz music. Out there with Eric Dolphy. Who is this one? This one is Outward Bound with Eric Dolphy. Workout, Hank Mobley. 45 RPM, RTI. Oliver Nelson, Screamin' the Blues. Nice record. Thelonious Monk. I'm a piano guy. He was a great piano player, but you shouldn't start there. Andrew Hill, Black Fire. Tone Poet, nice record. Oh, the original OG. One of my very best records. Lou Donaldson, Blues Walk, Near Mint Minus, 1958. Oh, I love that record, but don't start there. Mingus, Mingus, Mingus. Oh, what do we have here? Here's a record from 1959. It says, Let's Get Acquainted with Jazz for people who hate jazz. Well, you just got acquainted with some of the jazz that beginners might not like. So let's see what beginners might like. A cute lady here. She's got the blackboard up. She's the teacher, and she's taking you to school. She says swing, cool, progressive. I don't know about progressive. So let's see what she recommends. Oh, hey, vinyl community, and welcome YouTubers from everywhere. Having a little fun with the classic jazz folks here with this record. I saw this record cover. You have a tough time finding this record, so I had to go to Discogs and get me this record. Now, this record was still sealed. I just unsealed it today. This is a 1959 record, and it had a small reissue in 1985. This is the 1985 reissue. And the only way you could tell that is by this little thing right there, is that little print VSOP is the only difference. Otherwise, it's exactly like the original record. Now, what you were listening to there while I was flipping through those records is the blues off of this record, and tell you a little bit about the folks on this record. This is the Jimmy Rolls Sextet in supersonic sound. Jimmy Rolls 1918 to 1996, and he was active for 50 or 60 years. He had over 40 records where he was either the leader or co-leader, and he's on hundreds of records with other people, even though most people haven't heard his name. He can play all kinds of stuff. So he recorded with Billie Holiday, with Peggy Lee, with Ella Fitzgerald. And from 81 to 83, he was touring with Ella Fitzgerald as her pianist. I'm going to play a tune off of this record. I'm going to show you a few more of his records, and this might be, at least this one, what we'd call cool jazz, kind of a West Coast kind of thing. People who are wanting to get into jazz, it's not really into it. We may find out that maybe vocal jazz is the easiest way to get into it. East of the Sun. On this record is Jimmy Rolls piano, Red Mitchell bass, Larry Bunker vibes, Pete Candoli trumpet, Mel Lewis drums, and Harold Land tenor sax. And on some of the tracks, courtesy of Contemporary Records, is Barney Kessel on guitar. Back in the olden days of the vinyl community, I was also known as Mr. Cheesecake. I love collecting records with cheesecake covers, and I just love records that have covers like this. It's a big part of the fun. And when I saw this record, I just had to have it. Well, that record was 1959. Let's see what Jimmy Rolls was doing in 1960. Witherspoon, Mulligan, Webster, at the Renaissance with Mel Lewis, Leroy Vinegar, and Jimmy Rolls on piano. This is hi-fi jazz. And as I had said, a lot of times when the serious jazz people think of jazz, they don't very much think of vocals. They're thinking of instrumentals. Instrumentals in any genre of music have never been really big sellers. So let's listen to a little Jimmy Witherspoon with some real jazz guys here. Jerry Mulligan on baritone sax, which I love.
Well, money's getting cheaper, price is getting steeper. Found myself a woman, but I just couldn't keep her. Times getting tougher than tough, things getting rougher than rough. When I make a lot of money, I just keep spending the stuff. Well, pork chops on the market, I asked the butcher for a pound. I couldn't buy a pork chop when I laid my money down. Times getting tougher than tough, things getting rougher than rough. When I make a lot of money, I just keep spending the stuff.
Of course, one of the all-time great jazz singers, Sarah Vaughan, who started way back there early on. Here is the Jimmy Rolls Quintet. We're going to listen to her do That Face from 1977. She recorded a lot of stuff, and of course Ella Fitzgerald and all of the other ladies, Billie Holiday, all great jazz, but I'm just showing some stuff that's maybe a little bit easier and stuff that we don't see in the vinyl community that much. So let's hear her do a little bit of That Face on Red Lion Records, label we don't see very often. I thought that was kind of a nice master stream. Nice looking record label. Often I don't show these.
That face, that a wonderful face. It shines, it glows all over the place. And how I love to watch it change expressions. Each look becomes a prize of my possessions. I love that face. That face, it just isn't fair. You must forgive the way that I stare, but never will these eyes behold a sight that could replace that face, that face, that face.
Jimmy Rolls started with Lester Young in 1942 and his group. He was still playing up to about 94, just a few years before he passed away. And so he played for a long time, and he could play a lot of different styles. A number of female vocalists who he recorded with over the years were asked, if you had to pick out of all pianists there are, who is your favorite to record with? They just almost unanimously picked Jimmy Rolls. He was also a composer. And here he is. Stan Getz presents Jimmy Rolls, The Peacocks, with Elvin Jones and Buster Williams. This record also from 1977. So let's hear just My Buddy, which has the whole group, and we're going out here on a high note.
My buddy, your buddy misses you. I miss your voice, the touch of your hand, and just to know that you understand. My buddy, my buddy, your buddy misses you.
And did I forget to mention he was also a quite good singer? Yeah, so I say keep 'em spinning. I'm going to see you all down the trail, and I hope you're all my buddies now.
Happy trails to you until we meet again.